Hi, everybody. So, I'm preparing for an interview next month, and while doing it, I figured I actually have never failed an interview, be it a college interview or for my university interview or a job interview. I've never failed one. I happen to be someone who has a lot of self doubt, and so far I have always attributed my success in interviews with my luck or my Ammu's prayers. But I also figured it's just not that. It's also the processes that I follow. So this video is about how you should prepare for your interviews so that you never fail. Today I will center the interview prep around job interviews, but to be very honest, you can use it for anything like university, colleges, anything. This should work everywhere because it worked for me and I'm sure it will work for you too. So how do I do it? So my first step is I research. I research a lot. So I research about the company, about the job role, and about myself. So I'll start with how I research about the company. So the first things first, you Google. It can be Unilever, it can be Bikash, it can be Robi, it can be whichever organization. You Google. Where are they from? What are they doing here? Everything that you can find on the internet, and jot it down. So I usually, like, in my notebook it's blank, and then I fill it up with whatever information I find relevant for my preparation. And then what I do is I connect with people from the organization. It can be friends or family, anybody that you know. Maybe you met them once, just send them a message and ask them to tell you about their company. Like, what an insider thinks about the company, jot it down, write it down. How you know about the company, and then what I do is I research about the job role. So I look at the JD that is given in the in the job portals, and I also look at similar JDs for other companies. I like to prepare better. If it's an interview for Bikash, I would prepare for an interview for Google maybe. So if it's a product manager role in Bikash, for example, what I would do is I would look at the JD they have provided. I would read every line, every word, like whatever responsibilities the person has to take on, what are they expecting from the person. And I would also look at JDs of similar roles in other companies, maybe even global companies. The next thing I do is I brainstorm about myself. So everything is already in your resume or your CV, your educational experiences, your professional experiences, extracurriculars, and everything. But what more do you want to communicate in the interviews? So what is interesting about you? What will the interviewer remember about you? So brainstorm about 10 things and then select these 3. These are the 3 things that make me interesting than my peers, than the rest of the applicants, okay? So I ask myself, why am I applying? Now you may say the reason is very simple. I am applying because I need a job. I'm applying for the money. I'm applying because this is a good company. Yes to all of that. But trust me, you have more reasons than that. So there are thousands of job roles, right, available in the portals. Why aren't you applying to all of them? Why are you applying to a handful? There is a reason. There must be a reason. So think about it. Why did you select that company? So, for example, you have selected maybe Grameenphone. So why have you selected Grameenphone? Why not something else? Is it because it is a big name? Is it because of the reputation? Maybe because you want a career in telecom industry. Maybe because you already have a career in telecom industry. Maybe you want to switch from the existing industry that you are working in. So write down that reasons. So now you have many things. You have a whole toolbox ready. So you have information about the organization first, and then you have information about the job role. Then you have information about yourself. You have information about what makes you interesting. You have information about why are you applying for this role? Why are you applying to this organization? So the next step is curation. But before we do that, we do something else. So we prepare the question bank. So how do we prepare the question bank? So the first thing that I would do in the current scenario is I would go to ChatGPT and tell them this is my JD and what kind of questions do you think the interviewer is going to ask me, and then write it down, like the questions that they're giving you. Select, pick and choose what you think is appropriate, and then do some more research. Google more about the roles, what kind of questions that they're asking. This is a pro tip. I have been an interviewer multiple times, and what I did was I looked at questions that other organizations, I looked at questions from question banks of big names, and then I asked those questions to my interviewees. Okay, so you use that. So there are lots of resources on the internet that you will find. You make a list of maybe 20 questions. So now you have the toolbox, all the information that you need for your answers, and then you have the questions. And so what you now do is you map it. So the basic questions like, why do you want to work in our organization? We already have the answer, right? From the brainstorming about myself, know thyself. So yeah, I have the answer to that. So in these interviews, what you need to do is you need to set yourself apart. So someone who's the valedictorian or with a 4 out of 4 CGPA, he or she sets himself apart with that. But what does a normal person like me do, like you do? So you talk about your interests, your dreams, your passions, your alignment with the role, what you can offer to the organization. And through that, those information, you set yourself apart so that when you leave the room, the interviewer remembers you. They can have a conversation about you. They remember your name, or maybe they remember like that girl who talked about maybe knitting, or that girl who's interested about fitness, something like that. Give them some, some food for thought. Like you leave the room and then it stays with them. So that is going to get you your role. What's the final thing you do? So what I do, I am a person who manifests. Okay, so for example, when I was applying for the management trainee role in Bikash, just leading up to my interview, like in the morning, I was playing this song that Bikash released a while back. Yeah, this is the song. So I was listening to it, and I was very passionate about our organization. I really wanted to be there, and then this song helped me vibe, and I was imagining myself in that role, in that environment, everything. In my imagination, I was there. In my imagination, I was facing the interviewers. And when it was time to face the interview, of course, I cracked it because I was prepared for it. And I hope you prepare for yours too. Good luck with acing all the interviews.